curriculum development, differentiated instruction, educational technology, lesson planning, and classroom management. So I started with greeting. I did not introduce myself. I'm so sorry about that. I'm so excited about this program. That's why I missed that. I am Kamaludin Fatia by name, a 400 level student of Mathematics Department, University of Ilorin. So please let's use our favorite emoji to welcome Nicole Soda. You can have the mic.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Perfect. So I'll share it again. Okay. All right. And you can all see that? All right, perfect. I'll just start from here. So hi, my name is Nicole Soder. I'm glad you could hear me now. Mostly today wanting to talk about my business, New Teacher Academy. So through New Teacher Academy, I help new educators feel confident, prepared, and supported in their first year. My resources are time-saving and stress-reducing, bridging theory with real-life teaching, and my mission overall is to help new teachers not just survive, but thrive in their first year. So for me, building an online presence was essential to reach new educators and grow my business. And in today's world, just having great materials and resources is not enough. You have to be visible, relatable, and accessible. But by consistently showing up online, I was able to share my expertise, build trust with new teachers, and create a community that naturally led to the growth of New Teacher Academy, which was not easy at first as someone who's not putting their life out there usually on social media. It was definitely a change, but today it's one of the main ways to get the word out about yourself and your business. So here are 10 main steps that I took to achieve this. The first being to identify my niche. I focus specifically on supporting first-year teachers. Instead of trying to help everyone, I narrowed my audience to new educators who felt overwhelmed, unsure, and underprepared. And this clarity made my content more targeted and impactful. And next, you want to make sure your mission and your message are clarified. So for me, I define what I stand for, which is helping new teachers feel confident, prepared, and supported. Having a clear mission guided every post, resource, and idea I created, ensuring consistency across my brand. It also helped me to stay focused, avoid creating random or off-brand content, and build trust with my audience because they knew exactly what to expect from me. You also want to choose the right platforms, which it can take time depending on your niche to decide what that is for you. For me, where I'm in teaching, I know teachers are already active mostly on Instagram, TikTok. So this allowed me to meet my audience where they already spend their time instead of trying to grow on every platform all at once. So by focusing my energy, I was able to build stronger engagement, learn what works faster, and create content that truly connected with my audience. Step 4 was to create value-driven content. So for me, I focused on sharing practical, helpful content, lesson ideas, classroom management tips, time-saving strategies, so that my audience of teachers could immediately apply what they learned. I also talked openly and authentically about real classroom challenges and experiences, which helped to make my content relatable and help to build trust because new teachers could see themselves in my content. So this is like my TikTok page where at first it was a lot of trial and error, a lot of different types of videos being put out there and learning what works. And then randomly, one video that ended up being really popular was how to not get fired from your job, which people really liked. I didn't necessarily expect them to, but that got me like 1,000 followers overnight, which followers isn't necessarily the goal, but it resonated with people, and it was authentic and real and not just all happy. It was all about how to avoid some of the common pitfalls of the profession. Same for LinkedIn as well, sharing books even that you've read about recently and things like that people really relate to and they engage with. I would also recommend staying consistent. So showing up regularly with content, even when growth feels slow, which it will tend to at the beginning, but being consistent helps to increase visibility and keep your audience engaged over time. It also allowed me to improve my content, understand what resonated most, and stay top of mind for my audience. So even if you're not churning out the most perfectly curated content every single day, done is better than perfect, and just putting your work out there and getting the word out is more important than anything. You also want to be sure to engage with your audience. So for me, this meant responding to comments, answering DMs, asking questions. This helps turn just numbers of followers into a community and help me to better understand what new teachers actually need. So by having real conversations, I built stronger relationships, increased trust, and created content that directly reflected my audience's challenges and their questions. You want to keep in mind as well to build a brand as you're building up your social media platforms or what have you, your online presence. You want to develop a consistent style, voice, message. Over time, people will just recognize your content as yours before even seeing your name and associate it with, for me, what was support and practical teaching advice. And this consistency helps to build credibility, make your brand memorable, and it also allows your audience to instantly connect with and trust what you share. Collaborating with others is key as well, just as we all are today. So I connected with other educators to share ideas, co-create content, and expand my reach. Collaboration helped me to grow faster and build credibility at the same time. It also introduced me to new audiences, strengthening my network and allowing me to learn from others in the field. Listen and adapt. This is also so important. So paying attention to what your audience asks for and adjusting your content based on their needs. Not to say it's all about what people want, but you definitely want to keep that in mind in tandem with creating content that makes you happy. This will make your work just feel more relevant and impactful for your audience. And by listening closely, for me, I was able to create content and resources that truly solve their problems, which increased engagement, trust, and overall value. And then the last suggestion I have is if you are caring to expand into products once you understand your audience's needs. So for me, I created resources and tools people were already asking for, which allowed me to turn my online presence into a business. And because these products were directly based on their real needs, they felt relevant, practical, and valuable, making it easier to generate a consistent income. But that might not be the goal. The goal might just for you to get the word out about yourself, to market yourself for jobs and things like that. But all the same principles still apply. So overall, building an online presence isn't about just going viral. It's about making an impact, showing up consistently, staying true to your mission, and focusing on helping others will allow you to create something meaningful that grows over time. Your voice, experiences, and perspective matter, especially to the students or communities that you serve. So some key takeaways. Common mistakes to avoid. So I would suggest not doing these things when you first get started building your online presence. such as trying to be on every platform at once. Your key audience is probably not everywhere, and that will take a lot of your time and effort and energy, whereas you could be really focused on, say, like 2 platforms and get a lot more bang for your buck. Thank you. Focusing on followers instead of value. It's not just about the numbers, it's about finding your niche, finding people who resonate with your content. It doesn't have to be thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to make an impact. Try to avoid inconsistent posting or giving up too early. It takes time, and it takes time to just learn what people are looking for and what resonates with them. So don't give up, or compare your beginning to someone else's middle. And also be sure to engage with your audience. So I would avoid not engaging with your audience, respond to messages, DMs, ask them questions, engage in the comments, so on and so forth. Today, things you could start doing are share one tip or idea from your coursework or your experience, follow and engage with other people in your field, save and organize content ideas, and start posting consistently, even if it's not perfect. Don't let that hold you back. Overall, why this matters for your career. So building an online presence isn't necessary, but it could be very essential to building your confidence before entering the workforce. It also helps you to develop your own voice and mission, connects you with a supportive professional community, and it could be opening doors to opportunities, whether it's jobs, collaborations, or leadership roles. So overall, it can be very beneficial for your career. Some final thoughts are that building a strong online presence doesn't happen overnight, but with consistency, clarity, and a focus on helping others, it can become a powerful tool for your career. By sharing your voice, connecting with others, and creating value, you're not only preparing yourself as a professional, you're building a community and you're making an impact before you even step into the workforce. Thank you so much for your time and for coming. And at this point, I'll take any questions or comments you might have. Working at professional. That's a great question. Yeah, so there's a question about working as a professional at the same time while studying. Time feels short and it's a race of time. And how can we only focus on one thing? This is a great question. So I've definitely been there as far as being a student, being a teacher, being a business owner, all at the same time, currently in that situation. It definitely is a balancing act and takes a lot of careful planning and time management. I plan my weeks and months way in advance so that I can schedule for all of these different tasks and commitments, and also plan for things to go wrong or take longer than I intend for them to. So that's a big part of it. I get a lot of work done like on the train, like during my commute, just trying to maximize every moment that I have, taking phone calls while I'm driving. So multitasking, but in a way that like I'm not, it's just like driving. I'm not doing anything too mentally taxing at the same time. So I can like take a phone call at that same time. But then there's also seasons for different parts of your life. There's some parts where I have to kind of neglect my business for a week or a couple weeks and just focus on school, and that's okay. I have to remind myself that that's okay. I'm not gonna be able to be 100% in everything and every time. And then sometimes family takes over, or business is more busy. So there's also seasons for everything. I'm not 100% at everything all at the same time, as much as I'd like to be and try to be. So you also have to give yourself grace in that aspect and try to multitask with it too. Like while you're at school, you can take a vlog or a video and incorporate that into your daily schedule. Oh, great question. So what should students focus on beyond grades to become industry ready? I definitely focused way too much on grades in school. It's just kind of who I've always been, and I don't regret it, but I do wish that I took more time to meet more people and network a little bit more within my university, to go outside of the couple normal buildings that I frequented all the time and just take the time to explore and introduce myself to new people. I was involved very much with orchestra and violin and helping fellow commuter students and things like that, but to go outside of your comfort zone and meet new people, join a club that you might not have typically, I think would be very helpful to become industry ready, even if it's not directly related to your particular career. It just helps you to meet people and people who know people who are hiring in your field. Um, and but also at the same time, take on internships, research work, join professional organizations that will prepare you for your career. And skills you should start building to remain relevant. Definitely technical skills. AI nowadays is huge. For me, being in math, as much as it's not my favorite, I had to learn coding to be able to make it in some of the work that I did. So it depends on your field, is the short answer, but definitely having those technical skills while also balancing them out with the soft skills, having good leadership and communication with other people, being empathetic and just understanding and helpful whenever possible, even when you're not asked to be helpful, going out of your way to make other people's lives easier. They notice that. When it's hard to find a niche to focus on, hmm, I think that goes back to just my earlier point of trying different things. For me, I've always loved math, and like that's where it was at. I didn't have a doubt in my mind that that's what I wanted to do. But at the same time, I did have a little bit of question of how I wanted to apply it in my job. So I originally thought I would go on and become a math researcher. And while it still could happen, I realized in grad school that wasn't my passion. And I looked forward so much more to the teaching assistant job that I had. So that was really when it clicked, and I was like, oh, maybe I should pivot and focus just on the teaching, rather than all the research, because I just wasn't enjoying it. But I wouldn't have known that if I didn't try. So trying different things and talking to different people who are already in fields that you might be interested in could help you to narrow down a niche. How to become consistent. I always plan to do things and even make a schedule, but after 2 or 3 days, I lose track and start doing other work instead. Yeah, I know there's different methods for this, like the Pomodoro method, like allowing yourself breaks within tasks, because sometimes the task seems so big and it's going to take so much time and it's so difficult. And so we don't do it because it's just too overwhelming. So breaking it down maybe into smaller chunks and also timing those chunks could be helpful for you if you feel you have difficulty focusing, but also giving yourself breaks, like timed breaks. Like you don't want it to get out of hand, but incorporating balance, I would say, is the biggest key for that. Exactly, 5 minutes a day makes you consistent. Yeah, if you want to start exercising 5 minutes a day, and then you'll want to start doing a little bit more naturally. But if you tell yourself, yeah, just those 5 minutes, that's easy. Other questions? Hopefully these were helpful answers. You're welcome. Yeah, I think for me, like it took a lot of time, not a lot of time, but some time and some trial and error, because I'm also quite passionate about music and violin, and I thought maybe I'd want to go into that full time and become a professional orchestra musician. But then I started doing research, which is something else that's helpful when finding your niche, is just to research as much as you can. And for me, it was realizing the lifestyle and the late nights and the constant concerts and everything didn't really align with the lifestyle I wanted to build for myself. So that kind of made that decision. Not that I don't play anymore, I still do, but when choosing a career, I think it's important to consider lifestyle as well, like long term, 5 years from now, even. What do you want your life to look like? Do you value making a ton of money? Do you value family? Do you value having enough time off? Think about your values and how well what you're investigating aligns with that.
So thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Anything else I can answer? Thank you. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for having me. Thank you.
So Fata, you can continue.
Wow, wow, wow. That was powerful. I don't even know what to add or subtract from everything she said. She has said a lot of things. So moving on. I would like to call our next speaker. But before I do, the normal protocol is to introduce our speakers to us. So we get to familiarize ourselves with the speaker before he or she start talking. So I would like to put us through our next speaker's bio, the person of Simisola Ajayi. Simisola Ajayi is a dynamic student leader, creative entrepreneur, and passionate advocate for youth development and innovation. She currently serves as the Director for Advocacy and Student Ambassador at Art in Art Gallery, where she promotes creativity as a tool for impact and expression. As the founder of Diplomatic Market Square, she is building a platform that connects ideas, culture, and enterprise, empowering young people to explore global opportunities. She is also the CEO of Infinite Royalty fashion brand, where she blends style with purpose, showcasing creativity and leadership in the fashion industry. In addition, Simsola serves as the Vice President of NAPSIL Anchor University chapter, where she actively contributes to student growth, leadership development, and community engagement. With a strong commitment to advocacy, creativity, and leadership, she continues to inspire young minds to turn passion into purpose and ideas into impact. Please, let's welcome Simisola Ajayi. Ma, you can have the mic.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much, Ms. Katia, for that Very flattering introduction. I'm very honored to be here today. And thank you to the Mass Public Corporate Organization for hosting this very, very wonderful event. Okay, so before I start what I planned today, I just want to say something that I think the former speaker has already made justice and given justice to the topic that we have today. So what I'll just say is going to be very, very brief. But I'll plead that we have our listening ears and just a pen where you can write it, like just scribble things down. So we will not be taking time. Okay, so as regards today's theme and what we need to talk about today. So we said we are here to discuss how students can be professionals and how students can build a strong online presence while building a career. Okay, so I'll start by saying that juggling academics and building is not easy. I'm sure we all know that it is very much not easy, especially when you have to be like if you are studying a course like my course, you have to be there academically and but you need to start your career building from 100 level, like you need to start it immediately. Start going for volunteering opportunities, speaking events, and the rest. So juggling is what I have to say today because I know people would have spoken and told you how to keep an online presence and everything. So the name of the formula, I hope you can hear me, please.
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes, so there were some distractions here. Okay, so the name of the formula I came up is something we know, but I'm going to tune it in or fine tune it in a more social science way, like something that will fit my course and also math. I mean, majority of us here have, I think we all did math in secondary school, so or primary school, so we should have a background. Okay, so the name of the formula is opportunity plus cost equals to alternative for growth. I think it's something we know. The economic formula and theory of opportunity cost alternative for growth. So I fine tuned it to something easier for us to understand. Let me explain it. It's not something very hard. It's not something very strange. So what it's simply saying is that, in simple terms, opportunity cost is the value of the next best alternative you give up when you make a choice. So in every decision you make as a student, it comes down to three things. What opportunity am I pursuing? What will it cost me? And what am I'm willing to give up? I hope we got it. Those are the three things that it comes down to. So in the economic world, we say resources are scarce, but human wants are unlimited. Like the human needs are insatiable. That means you cannot satisfy it. You keep on proposing things and coming up with different produce to just meet up with human needs and wants. But in real life, what we say is that these opportunities actually exist, but so do many qualified people competing for them. So that means what you're competing for in the academic field, 1 million other people are also competing for that thing. So if you say you want to be a doctor, there are like more than billions of people that want to become doctors. So whatever you're applying for, or whatever position or whatever opportunity that you see, or you think nobody has seen it, five less than 500, in fact, more than 500,000 people would have seen it before you even saw it. So that means there's always more qualified people and emphasis on more qualified people. So that's what makes this thing feel very scarce. So when you choose professionalism, you're choosing discipline, you're choosing growth and long-term reward. Aside from just building the online presence, you need to understand that there are costs to these things. Even you juggling two things together, there are also costs to it. So, but the cost might is not necessarily money all the time. No. Cost doesn't apply to money or monetary funds all the time. And this cost can be less free time, fewer distractions, and temporary discomfort. Yes, it is very discomforting to, maybe the people around you are maybe busy subscribing to Netflix and watching the new drama or series, and you're just there filling and applying forms and doing videos and say, hello, this is me. Okay, I run a brand, or I have this and that, or this is what I stand for, or this is what I believe. And the rest of the people are just, in the comfort of their bed, scrolling. And you're there trying to put up something, researching every day. That is the cost you have to pay. So now, what is the alternative for gone? That is everything you have to sacrifice while staying on that path. So to go, you must be very intentional. And there are sacrifices to everything. I'm sure we know that there are sacrifices to everything. You waking up early in the morning and just, trying to film something because the sun is out and maybe your face is going to, some people say their face is better in the morning, or you look at the sun, or you say, okay, the sun is out today, let me just wake up and shoot this content, or let me just, okay, I research better at night, let me research and do this. I have this and this tomorrow. I need to meet up with this deadline. So those are the sacrifices you make. So now, to go, you must be very intentional, like I said, and jot down this thing. You need to know when to prioritize your career. So opportunity cost, alternative for gone. The alternative that needs that you need to let go. You need to know when to sacrifice two things. So you're juggling two things, right? The best way to balance things is to know when to sacrifice one for the other. I hope you got me. The best way to balance something is know when to sacrifice one for the other. So you can't carry two things together. There are adage that say, if you want to travel far, you need to travel light. Yes. So you need to know when to balance two things, or you need to know when to sacrifice it for the other. So you will have the season. I think Miss Paul said something about seasons, and which is very, very correct. We have seasons for everything. There's the season for autumn, there's the season for winter, and the rest. So we need to know when to prioritize our career, and you need to know when to build your finances, and you also need to know when to prioritize your social media presence. So say for instance, you started creating a video, yes, you made a content, and somehow, as the algorithm will have it, that content went viral. So you say, oh, I've gotten that viral content, let me rest for now. No, you need to know when to prioritize it. if you do not if you do not keep on being persistent, and I'm not saying post videos every day, you get ruined. I think I started my social media, I started using social media platforms like that. I must post every day, everybody must see me post. No, no, no. If you do it like that, you get weary. In fact, you even, there are several times I felt like, let me use the word disappearing. I think I told one of my friends one day, and I said, oh god, I don't want to disappear from the social media platform. And I just realized that I was the one doing it wrong. Do not strain yourself. It's going to be very tiring, especially when the academic system in Nigeria is very demanding. And if you do not put up with the work, you have a lot of researches. There are people that come to school and they while away time and the rest. You're not that type of person, and you're not aspiring to be that type of person. So you know that you have to make your research. You have to go like weeks ahead of the lecture. Maybe the lecturer is talking about something today, and you have to have searched before. Okay, what is my lecturer going to talk about? What can I contribute to this topic? That is how you become professionals. It's not just about writing exams and getting first class and the rest. No, it's about being intentional about things. Be intentional, be consistent, and be aware of those little things. So you must not weary yourself by choose your timetable. What is the time you want to post today? Okay, now I want to prioritize my career. Realize that exam will be in let's say a month time, and you see that okay, I've not posted anything